Here's an in-depth tutorial for how to edit 3D and 360-degree video in Final Cut Pro. I've been using Final Cut Pro for over 10 years, and I'm going to share 3 tricks for viewing, importing, and setting up 360-degree video projects. Then I'll show you how to spice up your video with 3D titles, effects, and transitions. And at the end of the video, I'll show you how to make this cool tiny planet effect. Ready, player one? Let's do this. So to import 360 video, it's just like normal video. You can go up to File and select Import, or use the shortcut Command I, or here's a little trick that people don't usually use. Click on this little arrow button pointing down, and that will open up the media import window. And then just navigate to the clips you want to import. Let's see, I've already imported some of these, and select them. Set the event you want to import them to, and any other settings over here. This looks good to me, so I'll select Import Selected. Now, before you can edit them, you need to update their metadata. Select your clips, open up the inspector. If you don't have it open here on the right-hand side, just click this little button with the 3 sliders, and then click on the info inspector. Down here at the bottom, you need to change the projection mode to match what your footage is. You cannot edit 360 video in Final Cut Pro unless it's this Equirectangular format or projection mode. If you have any of these others, you can still tag and organize them, but you won't be able to edit it in Final Cut Pro. It has to be Equirectangular. So you'll need to stitch those with some software and turn them into Equirectangular before you can edit them. And then set your stereoscopic mode. The footage I have is monoscopic. That's basically covering one eye, and you can see everything, but your depth isn't quite there yet. Stereoscopic will have something like this. It'll have a screen for your left eye and your right eye, and it will be stacked on top of each other, over, under, or side by side. And then when it's projected, your eye sees each side of that. So depending on your footage, you'll need to set the proper stereoscopic mode. All right, the next thing is you have to create a special project. So go up to File, New, and click on Project, or you can press Command N to create a new project. I'll give my project a name, and then under Video, I'll select 360, and then I'll select my resolution, my frame rate, and my projection type. Now, if you don't know those things, here's a handy little trick you can do. Select your clips, then right-click and select New Project. Final Cut will automatically set up everything to match your clips. So all I need to do is name it, and then press Enter. And it's added my clips to the project timeline. Let's play this back. You can see that this doesn't look quite right. We need to open up the special viewer. So you can go up to View, Show in Viewer, and select 360, or you can click over here and select View, 360 Viewer, or press Option Command 7 to bring up the special viewer. All right, now we have 2 viewers. On the right, we have our regular viewer, and then over here we have the 360 viewer, which has some different tools we can use. If I click and drag, I can move up and down, left and right, all over. I can look all around. I can also use Control Command Option and up arrow to look up, or down arrow to look down, left to look left, and right to look right. I can also roll counterclockwise and clockwise with Command, Control, Option, left bracket, and right bracket. If I want to zoom in, I press those 3 again, Control, Command, Option, and use minus to zoom out or plus to zoom in. I can use this to change my field of view, this slider. And if I want to reset it, just click this arrow. And I can also reset my angle if I ever get topsy-turvy. Click on Settings and click on Show Overlays. This shows us our viewing angle, and this is not the orientation angle or where it starts. This is just what we're viewing. So you'll see as I move around here in the viewer, it updates these numbers. And then if I reset them, they'll all go back to 0, 0, 0. So your video comes with a default direction where the viewer is looking, and that's at 0, 0, 0 right here. Now, if I want to change it and have it be over here, I have to reorient the clip. Select your clip and go to the video inspector by clicking this button here. You'll see the reorient section here. Tilt is up and down movement. So if I click and drag on this number, I can go down or up, and then pan is looking left and right. So I can go to my right or to the left. And then if I want to move it, my head like this, I'll use roll, which is Z, and I can go clockwise and counterclockwise. I can reset any of those values by clicking on the arrow and then select reset parameter, or I can reset all of them by clicking on the top arrow and reset parameter. I can also activate an on-screen control by clicking this little button. And now when I hover over the viewer here, I have this special icon, and I can just click and drag on the viewer, and you'll notice that the values in the inspector are changing. Now this right here on the left is the default direction that the viewer would see in the video. You can constrain movement to one axis by holding down Shift. So I'll hold down Shift and click and drag up, and you'll notice that it moves up and down, but it's not moving left or right. Now you might get out of whack and the horizon might be way off like it is here in this case. And so we can use the horizon tool to reset it. Go to View and select Show Horizon, and then we can adjust our video here to get back to flat horizon. Oh, that's less nauseous. You can also access the reorient tools down here in the bottom left corner. Just click on this arrow and select reorient. To reset your orientation to the default, you can just press this reset button and then click done. You can edit video clips in the timeline just like regular video clips. You can move them around, you can change their duration, you can stack them. You can do the same thing with 360 videos as you can with normal video clips. And I made this video called How to Edit Video in Final Cut Pro that will be really helpful, and you can check that out here. Final Cut also comes with some 360 effects, titles, and transitions. Let's take a look at them. Open up the effects browser by clicking on this button here and click on the 360 degree section here. It has a few different effects you can use. Let's try this aura clip. We'll drag and drop it onto my clip just like a normal effect, and you can see the changes already. If I go up to the video inspector, I have some options up here that I can adjust to tweak it and get just the look I want. And if we look around in the video, you'll see that it applies it to everything. You can also select a video and then find your effect that you want to add and double click, and it will add it to whatever video has been selected. So you'll see here we now have the glow effect added. To delete an effect, you can just turn it off and keep your parameter settings, or you can click here by the name until you get a yellow box and then press delete and it will remove the effect. Next, open up the transition browser in Final Cut Pro and go to the 360 section, and you'll see you have a few transitions in here that you can use. Just drag and drop your transition in between two clips and then play that back. Select the transition and you can adjust the duration by clicking and dragging on the edges, or select it, press Ctrl D and enter a new value and press enter. So I have a 3-second transition. This transition is happening all around me. So if I look behind me or over my shoulder, I'll see it. Let's go to the middle here, and I'm just going to move around, and you can see the line of the transition here. If I select the transition and go to the transition inspector, you can see I have different parameters here I can change. I can soften up the edge if I want and make it kind of fade into each other. I can add a border, and I can change the border color. I think I'll just leave it with a soft edge. Let's take a look. Go up to the Titles and Generators browser by clicking on this button. Under Titles, go to 360 degrees, and we have a few of them here we can use. Let's drag and drop this one onto our timeline, and if we go in a little bit, we don't see it because I'm looking the other way, but if I move over here, I see it. Let's play it back. Sweet. So normally to move a title around, you can just click on the text and move it around, but you can see it's not working here. You need to use the orient properties. So I'll activate the orient tool here, and now I can click and drag on this text and move it around in 3D space. So we'll move it over here to the right, and then if I look over here, I see it. There it is. Select your title and go to the title inspector. In here we have a ton of different controls we can use to customize that text. If I want to change the text, I'll go to the text inspector and add my own text right here. I can change the font. I can also tweak the size as well. And then down here under 3D text, I can change how thick the text is. I can also change the material that it's made of. Let's try some grungy concrete. And now let's play that back. Final Cut also comes with some 360 generators. So scroll down to the generator section, click on 360, and you'll see here you can add a color solid to your project or a gradient. And what that does is it adds just a solid color all the way around you. See, we'll look around. Nothing but blue skies. Are you enjoying this video? Is it helpful? Are you ready to edit 360 video in Final Cut Pro? If it's been helpful, will you please give it a thumbs up? That way, other people will find this video. Thank you. And coming up, I'll show you how to export and share your 360 video the right way so it plays perfectly on YouTube and other websites. All right, I've got this 360 footage of a warehouse. We've got a guy driving around. That looks cool. Everything looks great, except when I look down, I see the tripod it's on. Well, there's a way we can remove that. It's called the patch effect. Go to your effects browser under 360 and drag and drop the patch effect to your clip. And you'll see that it's disappeared. What's going on? That's amazing. Well, let's open up the inspector and you'll see this effect called 360 patch. And what it's basically doing is it's cloning another section of the video and putting it over the tripod. So we can pick where we want to focus. Like, where do we want to patch? What area? Is it up top? Is it down below? Is it off to the side? For this, it's a tripod, so it's on the bottom. Then we can click on Setup Mode, and you'll see some on-screen controls over here. The red is what you're covering up, and the green is what you're covering it up with. So if we move this red, you'll see the patch is moving with it. Do you see that? And then if I move my green, my patch changes as well. You want to keep it pretty close to the tripod so that you don't introduce something that looks different. So you can change your source position with this green button here, and you can also change the size. We want it big enough to cover the tripod. There we go. And in the inspector, we can change those as well. We can change the position right here, and you see it moves with it. We can change the size, and then we can also change the softness. That looks pretty good. We can also change the shape of it. We can make it more oval if we want, and we can rotate the angle of it, of the source. If you're having trouble seeing the source, click this highlight source and it shows you what you're going to use. Now this red one is what we're going to cover it up with, so I can move the position around here, or I can also use these published parameters to move the position. We can change the opacity of it, and we can tweak the angle and the size of it as well, and we can flip it if we want. When you're all done, just uncheck Setup Mode. And now when I move around, I don't see a tripod in the shot anymore. To create this cool tiny planet effect, you need to create a regular project. So press Command N and set up your video. We'll do a 1080p video and press OK. I'll add my 360 video to my project by pressing E. I don't need these viewers, so I'm going to turn it off by pressing Option Command 7. If I select orientation down here, I can move my clip around and I can scan the 360 clip. Select the clip, go to the video inspector, and under orientation, change mapping to tiny planet, and then play it back. There you go. You can see the people walking around, moving around. You see the trees coming off of the planet into the atmosphere. This is pretty cool. You can also adjust the tiny planet by clicking and dragging on the screen. You can also do an inverted tiny planet by changing tilt to 180 degrees, and it flips it, and now the sky is in the center and the planet and the people are around the outside. All right, now that your 360 video is complete, you're ready to export it and share it. Go up to the upper right hand corner and click on the share button, and then select export file, and go to settings and select your format and your video codec. We'll do 264, and notice the projection type is set to Equirectangular. So when Final Cut exports this, it will have information in the file showing that it's a 360 video. So when you upload it to YouTube or something or other websites, it will be treated as a 360 video. It can be moved around. People can look around in it and see different angles. All you have to do is click Next, name your file, and then click save. So now you're a 360-degree video editor. You know how to import, you know how to set up your projects, you know how to set up your clips and edit them, add titles and effects. You're ready to rock. I made another video I think you're gonna enjoy. I show you how to play video backwards. You can check it out right here. Oh, wow. Whoa.